What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my full card breakdown and prediction video for UFC Vegas 106. We have Mike Morales going against Gilbert Burns. We are back in the Apex after what seems like it's been a while since we've been in the Apex. But yeah, solid fight night card coming up this Saturday. Looking forward to breaking it all down. Before we do so, if you guys could, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. All three of those things are very much appreciated. A couple announcements. We had to announce the winner for the Significant Strike contest last week between Bilal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena. The correct answer was 310 significant strikes. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people just weren't even close. But the closest was my guy Nicholas Jones, 117, and his guess was 293. So he was 17 away. Nicholas, if you can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram with your PayPal or Cash apps, I will get you your winnings, sir. 17 strikes away. Believe it or not, was the closest for last week. So shout out to Nicholas Jones for that. Other than that, sorry about the late release. I was in a cabin in the woods over the weekend, literally in the middle of nowhere, and there was no cell service. There was Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi was absolute ass. Might have to leave them a bad review, and I was literally not able to tape fights when I typically tape fights over the weekend. So, yeah, kind of had to drag it out a little bit, get everything done, but releasing this on a Wednesday. But you should be back in the regular schedule going forward. But, yeah, coming off of getting my dick absolutely sucked, UFC 315, still sick about the Navajo Sterling knockout. If he got the knockout or the ref stopped the fight, it would have been like a 10.5 unit swing. And then, of course, the crooked, corrupt judges got Modestus 30-27. That one hurt as well. So looking forward to bouncing back. Gonna clean it up a little bit. Not gonna go crazy in this card. There are a couple things sticking out, a couple bets already, and hopefully they come through. Gonna try to not get these crooked, corrupt judges involved with them, but we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, let's get into it. We're gonna start with the first fight of the card, and it's Tisha Pennington going against Luana Panero. We got Tisha Pennington minus 350, Luana Panero sitting as a plus 275 underdog. And yeah, it's definitely a wide line here on the Pennington side. But at the end of the day, it's really hard for me to pick Luana Panero to win a fight, in the UFC. Panero, although I think she's decent, like good judo, solid power. It's just once that 7.5 minute mark hits, she just slows down massively as the fight goes on. So I expect Tisha Pennington, who, by the way, when Pennington's losing to, fighters, she's losing to very solid fighters, and they're close fights more often than not. Like, she lost a split decision to Tabitha Ricci. I thought she arguably won that fight. She lost a split decision to Mackenzie Dern. I thought she arguably won that fight. She lost to Zhang Wei Li, Ioana Jędrzejczyk, Jessica Andrade. I mean, listen to some of these losses, right? So, yeah, if she loses to Luana Panero, it's going to be her worst loss ever. By a mile. So I gotta go Pennington. She's not somebody you typically want to lay minus 350 on, but I will pick her to win, and I'll pick her to win by decision. Next, we got Hung Sung Park going against Carlos Hernandez. We got Hung Sung Park sitting as a minus 175 favorite. Carlos Hernandez sitting at plus 150. And yeah, so it's actually interesting with Carlos Hernandez. This is a guy that I think is just kind of okay everywhere. I think the guy is okay striker, good boxing. He can wrestle a little bit, he can grapple a little bit. But Hung Sung Park, we haven't seen him in a while. He was supposed to fight 2 Minute and Barrel. 2 Minute and Barrel, I think, pulled out on fight day. I was really looking forward to that fight, but coming back here against Carlos Hernandez, and it's one of those fights where I think it's going to be close. Like, I think minus 175 on the money line does seem a little bit wide, but at the end of the day, I think Park has all the finishing upside. Carlos Hernandez has never knocked anybody out, and I don't think he ever will. And Hung Sung Park is a guy that can go out there and mix in takedowns, and he's actually a really good grappler. I think he's really slick on the ground when he chooses to use that. He didn't choose to grapple against Shannon Ross, but probably for good reasons. Like Shannon Ross, you probably want to knock him out, and he took him to the third round to go out there and take down Sung Guk Choi for some reason. But yeah, when I have seen him wrestle, when I have seen him grapple, he is a very slick grappler, and I feel like he can get takedowns here against Carlos Hernandez, who has not the best takedown defense, not the best ground game. So yeah, Hung Sung Park, I think it'll be competitive, but I think he's going to land the bigger shots. I think he can mix in some takedowns here or there, and I think he ultimately wins a decision here. So Hung Sung Park by decision. Next, we got Denise Gomes going against Elise Reed. We got Denise Gomes, who is a minus 550 favorite. Elise Reed is plus 400. So that makes Denise Gomes one of the biggest favorites on the card, right behind, fighters like Michael Morales and some other big favorites on this card, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, Denise Gomes is a fighter that I think she's decent, right? She's dangerous. She has a lot of power for the strawweight division. She's somebody that, has some of the best tattoos. I mean, look at her neck tattoo. You don't see a neck tattoo like that nowadays. That's something that I would probably rock, and I think I could potentially pull it off, but she pulls it off better than anybody I've seen. I mean, that's a great neck tattoo, and in terms of who has the better tattoos in this fight, I definitely got to go with Denise Gomes there. But yeah, I mean, I've always never been a big fan of Elise Reed. I think her striking's decent. She has solid power as well. It's just Elise Reed has one huge gaping hole in her game, and I like when I watch the tape and I see these big gaping holes, right? Like I watched the tape on Jessica Andrade last week, and I just saw a ton of holes, a ton of big gaping holes, and we saw Jasmine fill those holes, and I think Elise Reed potentially gets her holes filled in this matchup by Denise Gomes. Denise Gomes, she has a ton of power, like I said. If she can get on top, her ground and pound is vicious. And Elise Reed, her biggest hole is that ground game. I mean, she has 4 losses. I believe she's been finishing all 4 of her losses. A couple by submission. I think she has a TKO loss to Ciara Eubanks. So I think Denise Gomes can hurt Reed on the feet. We saw Lupi Godinez hurt Reed on the feet badly. Had her wobbling across the cage. And I think Denise Gomes, although she hasn't had a submission win yet, I feel like this could potentially be her first submission win in the UFC and in general. So I think Denise Gomes here, I think she can either hurt Elise Reed on the feet, or I think she can take her down and either pound her out or, like I said, potentially find that first submission win, that first career submission win. So I like Denise Gomes here. I think she has a path to absolutely look every bit of minus 550, and we'll see if she takes it. But I'll go Denise Gomes to get a second round submission in this one. Up next, we have Luana Santos going against Tainara Lisboa. We got Santos, who is minus 160, Tainara Lisboa, who is plus 140. And, yeah, this one hurt. It hurt to research this fight. And I don't know what to do here, to be honest. I mean, I wonder if Lisboa is, like, hurt or what's going on with Lisboa. Apparently, she had, like, some type of serious knee issue or something with her leg. Something's bad on the Lisboa side, but she's been out for a little bit. But at the same time, it's like I don't know who out there would be laying minus 160, minus 170 on Luana Santos. So as long as Lisboa is coming in here and she's healthy or close to being healthy, I think it's a close fight. And since it's a close fight, I'm going to lean with the dog in Lisboa. And yeah, I mean, on the feet, Lisboa is probably the better striker. And I think Lisboa has shown some solid grappling as well. Like her background's in striking, but her grappling looks to be pretty solid. We saw her take down Jessica Rose Clark, take her into deep waters and sub her late. And Luana Santos is somebody I've just not been really sold on. So I'm going to lean with Lisboa with little to no confidence. I kind of want to see what she looks like on the scales and what's been going on with her, but apparently she's coming back off of some big injury, which is not good. But I'll go Lisboa. I'll go Lisboa by decision. Up next, we got Yadier Davai going against Connor Matthews. We got Davai, who is a minus 430 favorite. Connor Matthews is plus 330. And so yeah, like I said, I had to fire my graphics guy last week. He just kept making a lot of mistakes. But if I didn't fire him and I had more time this week, because I'm at a very big time crunch this week, I probably would have put a punching bag as Connor Matthews' picture. I think that'd be pretty funny, and I think that would pretty much sum up who Connor Matthews is. I mean, this guy is just he's just a punching bag. He's a very tough punching bag, but that's about all he is. The Francis Marshall loss on the Contender Series, that was probably one of the biggest beatdowns I've ever seen on Contender Series ever, and he's came into the UFC and he's been getting beat down. I mean, this guy's getting knocked out by guys like Dennis Bazukia, got sparked and piped against Jose Delgado, and now they're giving him Yadier Davai, who I don't know about this guy. I mean, I don't think he has a ton of upside in the UFC, but at the end of the day, he's fighting Connor Matthews, who is a punching bag. So I got to go Davai here. I think he's going to beat up the punching bag here. And yeah, Devay actually, pretty well rounded. Like the grappling solid. This guy will jump the ghillie. I mean, he'll attempt like 5 to 10 ghillies per fight, which is not something you really like to see. But against Connor Matthews, it should be fine. And then yeah, on the Contender Series, I was impressed with Devay. I like the volume. And he was close to getting that dude out of there. Was landing like nasty elbows up close. Devay, I think he's decent. I think he's fine, especially here against a punching bag in Connor Matthews. So I'll take Devay to win this fight, and I think he probably finishes Matthews. I think it all depends on who's reffing the fight. If it's like Jason Herzog, the fight probably does go 15 minutes, and Matthews might need stretchered out of there. But if it's a competent ref who cares about fighter safety, I think that Devay probably does get the finish in the second round by knockout. So give me Devay to win this fight. Give me Devay to win the fight by second round beatdown. Up next, we got Jared Gordon going against Thiago Moises. We got Jared Gordon, who's sitting at -110. Thiago Moises is sitting at -110 as well. Jared Gordon actually opened up as a +140 dog, and Moises opened up as a -170 favorite, so these odds have closed up. And it looks like on some books, Gordon is starting to take some steam. So I do expect Gordon to be the favorite by the time the fight kicks off. And I kind of wish I would have got in on the Gordon plus money, but was a little bit late to the tape study this week. But yeah, I like Gordon here. I think it's a close fight though. Like Moises, he's 6 years younger. I've always questioned the durability of Gordon, the chin of Gordon, but I don't think that's really going to be an issue here against Thiago Moises. But yeah, Moises I think is more dangerous overall. I mean, Gordon has one finish in the UFC. Moises has probably the grappling upside. So I think there are some reasons to, say this fight should probably be a pick'em. I think both guys have some advantages, but at the end of the day, I like Gordon here. I like the volume that he brings to the table. I like the cardio that he brings to the table. And like I said, when Gordon is losing fights, it's typically that chin. This guy Gordon's been knocked out 4 times. He has lost 2 decisions, but you look at the 2 decisions he's lost was against Paddy Pimblett, which was a very close fight that probably should have went Gordon's way, and then it was against Nasrat Haqparast, which was a very close fight, and honestly probably should have went Gordon's way. And I think both Paddy Pimblett and Nasrat Haqparast beat a guy like Thiago Moises pretty cleanly, to be honest. So yeah, I think as long as Gordon's chin holds up, which I think it does, and his takedown defense holds up, which I think it does, I think he wins this fight and wins it by a pretty close competitive decision. Up next, we got Mateus Camilo going against Gabe Green. We got Camilo sitting as a -230 favorite. Gabe Green is sitting as a +195 underdog. And this is a weird one. This is a fun fight. It's a weird fight, though. We have a couple weird things on both sides. For one, the Camilo side, this is a guy that's going to be making his debut here. And he does look good. He does look like a pretty solid fighter. I enjoyed watching the tape on him. I mean, this is a guy that will throw from the hip. He puts everything into his shots. He's looking to absolutely take your head off. Solid leg kicks and a sneaky submission game to go along with it. I think Camilo, at only 24 years old, training at Extreme Couture, like this guy could be decent. He does have 2 losses, though. Both are by submission, so the submission defense does look a little bit suspect. I've seen him tapped out by some lower-level competition, and tapped out pretty easily as well. So the sub-game of Camilo, sub-defense at least, it does leave a lot to be desired. But he's going against Gabe Green, who is now 32 years old. He's taken a 2-year layoff, and I don't know what's going on with Gabe Green, to be honest. The last time we saw him in the cage was, I believe, 2 years ago. It was in Charlotte, a card that I went to, and I actually missed the fight. I missed the fight because the parking was complete ass in Charlotte. I had to walk like a mile and a half, and I arrived to the arena, and it's like the green fight's over. I'm like, what do you mean the green fight's over? What do you mean? And apparently he went and got knocked out by Brian Battle in like 15 seconds. And that fight ended so quick, I actually missed most of the Ji-Yeon Kim Mandy Bum fight. And it's like, what's going on? So that's the last time we saw Gabe Green. It's like, it's been a while, and he fought for like 15 seconds. And it was a bad look. It was a very bad look. I've always thought Gabe Green did not have the best chin. We've seen him hurt in a lot of fights. He's been knocked out in the first round of 2 of his fights. And he's cutting down to lightweight. He's cutting down to lightweight after a 2-year layoff. And he's had some health issues. Apparently, the reason he's been off is because like a knee injury, which you don't like to hear, but a couple years ago, he had like a heart injury that kept him out for a while as well. So he's been battling some health issues at the later stage of his career. I'm not sure really where he's at in terms of his career, the motivation, what's been going on. I mean, it just sounds like a lot of, red flags on the Gabe Green side. And it apparently kind of sounds like he's going to go out there and do what he typically does, which is go in there and swing dicks. And Mateus Camilo is just not a guy I really think it's wise to swing dicks with. I mean, this guy, Mateus Camilo, he swings his dick hard, I'll tell you that right now. And I just don't think Green has the chin to take a shot like that. With that said, though, if this fight gets into deep waters, if this fight gets to the second or third, and it's the Gabe Green of old, Camilo could be in a lot of trouble. Camilo does slow down, and if this fight hits the ground, Gabe Green's a very slick grappler with a good submission game, and I would not shock me if Gabe Green was able to get like a late submission here, but I think the most likely scenario is these guys do go in there, stand in the middle, take out their dicks, and I think they're going to swing dicks until one man falls. And they got to trust the younger guy, the guy with more power, the guy with more durability, the guy that's been more active, and that guy is Mateus Camilo. Give me Mateus Camilo by first round knockout. Up next, we have a very fun fight here. Mel Costa going against Julian Rosa. We got Mel Costa minus 180, Julian Rosa plus 155. And yeah, this is a fun fight. This fight probably has fight of the night written all over it. Two fun and exciting guys. I mean, Mel Costa, a ton of hype is starting to build on this guy. People seem to really love this guy, and Juicy J is a guy that's always going to bring it. He's always going to be in a fight of the night type fight. So I'm really looking forward to this one. One thing I do got to mention is both these guys are coming off of pretty quick turnarounds. Julian Rosa, I was actually at his fight against Darren Elkins, and it was sick to watch, dude. I mean, I don't know if they have arrested or found the guy who sanctioned the Darren Elkins Julian Rosa fight, but it was actually very sad to watch. Felt really bad for Darren Elkins. Whoever let him in the cage that night needs to be in jail. But that was back in April 12th, which what is that, about a month ago? About a month ago. About a month ago. And then as far as Mel Costa, he fought back in late March 29th, which is a little bit over a month ago against Christian Rodriguez. And it's not like he didn't take any damage in that fight. I mean, that third round, it looked like Christian Rodriguez might even get him out of there. So very quick turnaround from Mel Costa. And then a month before that, or less than a month before that, in the Rodriguez fight, he took on Andre Fili. So this is going to be Mel Costa's third fight in about 3 months. I mean, I'm all for fighters being active, but don't we think that's a little bit too active there? Maybe we'll see. But this is a fight it's kind of tricky because Julian Rosa, this guy's a dog. This is a guy that's going to come forward and if his chin holds up, he's going to beat you more often than not. But it's the chin, right? This guy's been knocked out 7 times. But Mel Costa's like more kick heavy, like kicks to the body, kicks to the leg. Has decent hands, but like you said, he's more kick heavy. Might be able to kick Rosa in the head. We've seen that happen before, but I don't know. I feel like it's an interesting fight. I kind of trust Julian Rosa the more this fight goes on. Mel Costa slows down in every single fight, let alone a fight he's taking on super short notice here. We've seen Christian Rodriguez almost break this guy, and I don't like that. I get that he beat Rodriguez, and that's an okay win, but at the end of the day, Christian Rodriguez is a bantamweight. Christian Rodriguez is a blown-up bantamweight that refuses to make weight, right? Julian Rosa's, this dude could fight at lightweight and nobody would bat an eye, and I think he has some fights at lightweight. He's 6'1" as a featherweight, so yeah, he's going life and death with a bantamweight to taking on a much bigger guy in a Rosa who has great cardio and just has a lot of dog in him. So I think Mel Costa could potentially knock out Julian Rosa in the first round. Julian Rosa has been knocked out in the first round a lot, but if this fight gets extended, second round, it wouldn't shock me if Julian Rosa was able to take over and just show that he has more dog in him, show that he has the better cardio, and if this fight hits the ground, and I think it will, Mel Costa has been put in a bunch of bad spots, and Rosa has a nasty choke game. So I like Rosa here as a dog. Like I said, he could die in the first round, which is how he typically loses, but I think if it gets extended, I think it's all Julian Rosa. So I'm taking Rosa here. I'm going to take him to win this fight by second round submission. Up next, we have Nursultan Ruseabo going against Dustin Stoultz. We got Ruseabo as a minus 280 favorite. Dustin Stoultz sitting as a plus 240 underdog. And I know that last pick was going to be very unpopular. This pick's going to be even more unpopular. I'm taking Stoultz here, believe it or not. And I know Stoultz can absolutely get knocked out in the first round, but I'm looking at these odds at plus 240, and it's like I can think of a lot of paths for Dustin Stoultz. A lot of paths. Nursultan Ruseabo, I'm still not sold on the guy. Does he have power? Yes. But what else? He's big. Okay, he's big. He has power. Okay. Does he have, a lot of volume? No, absolutely not. Does he have takedown defense? No, absolutely not. I mean, this guy gets taken down by a gust of wind, and I'm not talking about in the UFC. I'm talking even outside the UFC. Go watch any Nursultan Ruseabo fight outside the UFC, and he's literally getting taken down in every single fight. And he's able to submit some of these lower level guys, but at the UFC level, a guy like a Dustin Stoultz, who can wrestle, who can grapple, I think he absolutely can take down Ruseabo. He's just got to fight smart. He's not going to want to go out there and strike and get into an absolute war with Ruseabo. He's going to go out there and take him down, and my sneaky suspicion is once Ruseabo gets taken down, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get back up. And if this fight gets to the second round, third round, Ruseabo, typically an early finish type guy, right? Stoultz is a guy that can go later in the fights, can win decisions. I think Ruseabo's like 2-6 in decision. Like, it's not great. 2-5 in decisions. It's not a great record in decisions. So, yeah, I think Ruseabo, if you like Ruseabo, instead of laying the minus 280, you probably play the first round knockout, and I think it's definitely a solid live bet spot here for Stoultz if his chin holds up and he fights smart. But, yeah, I think Stoultz has a path here. Get the fight down to the ground. You can't get knocked out on the ground, right? Unless you're on bottom. But I don't think Ruseabo is going to get on top here, right? I think Stoultz will get on top. And at that point, Ruseabo, that 6'5" height, that 76-inch reach, all that power, when he's on his back, it's going to be completely useless. So, yeah, we'll see if Stoultz fights smart. If he goes out there and gets in a war with Ruseabo like he did in the Bruno Ferreira fight, he's going to get absolutely served. But, yeah, I think he has all the tools to win this fight. So I'll say Stoultz wins this fight. I'll say he wins this fight by decision. Up next, we got Marion Santos going against Sodiq Ysef. We got Santos minus 145. Sodiq Ysef is plus 125. And, yeah, this was a line that jumped out to me right away. Pre-tape, I thought that I might be taking a shot at Sodiq Ysef. It's just, looking at the level of competition, it's night and day. And, this guy Santos is coming off of one of the worst robberies I've ever seen in my entire life where he cleanly got beat by Francis Marshall. The fight wasn't even that close. I mean, it was a pretty easy fight to judge. But, I mean, these judges, they're crooked, they're corrupt, they're blind. So it is what it is. But, yeah, it wasn't the best look. But it's like, I don't know. Sodiq has been battling some serious injuries, these last couple of years. I think it might be like a neck, or he's been dealing with some injuries lately, which you don't really like to hear, and he's been very inactive lately as well. His last win comes against Don Shameless Shanus, which was a guillotine choke in the first 30 seconds of the fight. But outside of that, he lost to Edson Barbosa in a 5-round war. That seems like a while ago at this point. And then he got starched by Diego Lopez, and that was back in last April. So I'm not sure where Sodiq is at. And Sadiq's a guy that I think he's skilled. I've always kind of questioned the chin, though. We've seen him hurt. We've seen him wobbled. We've seen him knocked out, multiple times. And, this guy, Marion Santos, he can absolutely crack. We saw him, absolutely spark Offley. And, I know Offley's not the best fighter, but just the way he knocked him out. I mean, Santos has power. And even against Francis Marshall, like, he was landing some big shots on Francis where I'm like, man, if he lands these same big shots on Ysef, I'm not sure if the chin of Ysef is going to hold up. And I'm just kind of confused and wondering where Sodiq Ysef is at this point of his career, right? I mean, he's been so inactive. He's been battling these injuries. He's on a 2-fight skid, right? Like, what version of Sodiq Ysef are we going to see in this matchup? I don't know. And on top of that, I believe Ysef is coming up a weight class here to lightweight. So we'll see how that works out for him. Maybe that helps the chin a little bit, but still, I think both guys are actually going to get the fight they want. You watch really all Santos' last few fights. Guys are trying to take him down. Guys are trying to hump his leg. Sodiq Ysef is not going to do that. Sodiq Ysef is going to stand and bang with this guy, right? On the flip side, Ysef, Santos isn't taking Ysef down, so Ysef is going to get the fight he wants, which is going to be a fight that takes place standing. I think this can be a banger. I think this has potential fight of the night, but I like Santos here. I think he's the more durable fighter, even though I think his durability is a little bit iffy, to be honest. I mean, he got dropped by Francis Marshall. He's been knocked out in his only loss. So I lean Santos, not with a ton of confidence. What I do like here, I think an under is pretty sneaky in this one, with both guys having a little bit shaky durability. Both guys having a lot of power and a lot of finishing ability on the feet. But in terms of picking a winner, I am going to go with Santos. I just feel like I can trust him more. I think there's too many red flags on the Ysef side to take him at this point. So I'll take Marion Santos to win this fight. I'll take him to win this fight by first-round knockout. Up next, we have, I believe, the co-main event. It is Rodolfo Bolato going against Paul Craig. We got Rodolfo Bolato minus 550. Paul Craig is sitting as a plus 400 underdog. And it's your typical Paul Craig fight. Like, Paul Craig's a guy... He's a guy that it's hard to pick Paul Craig. Because what is his win condition? His win condition is getting dropped. His opponent goes into his guard, and he gets a triangle choke. I mean, how many times have we seen that outcome? A lot. We've seen it so many times. The only time that's not happened that I can remember off the top of my head was the Andre Muniz fight, where he actually got on top and pounded out Muniz. But typically, when Paul Craig is winning, it's a triangle. It's off his back. It's something off of his back, right? So you're giving him Bolato here, and I think it's a really bad matchup for Paul Craig, but I've said that in most Paul Craig fights. I think it's a really bad matchup. Bolato, he is a black belt. He is a good grappler, and he's a really good, I don't want to say really good, he's the better striker by a mile, though. Solid striker, good power, should have the takedown defense to keep this standing. Paul Craig, he's done at middleweight. He went like maybe 1-3 in the middleweight division. He's coming back up. He's 37 years old. He's taken so much damage. This should be Bolato. This should be Bolato by knockout. But Paul Craig is a guy that no matter how terrible the matchup is, I mean, this guy beat Jamal Hill. This guy beat Magomed Ankalaev. You can never, ever, ever count out Paul Craig, but it's very hard to pick him to win, to be honest. So I'll take Bolato to win. I think he's going to knock out Paul Craig. I think he's going to do it in the second round. Should be a fun fight. I mean, it's a Paul Craig fight. Of course it's going to be a fun fight, but I'll go Bolato by second round knockout. Up next, we have the main event. If you guys have not smashed the like button, smash it, please. Smash it. Smash it. Michael Morales, Gilbert Burns. Michael Morales minus 820. Gilbert Burns plus 570. And yeah, I mean, I like Morales a lot in this matchup. Do I like him at minus 820? No, but I like him to win the fight. Gilbert Burns, he's 38 years old. He's 38 years old. He's coming off of just a brutal knockout. That knee from Jack Della Maddalena, the follow-up punches, it was kind of hard to watch. He's on a 3-fight skid, and I think that Burns, this later half of his career, the cardio hasn't looked the best in some fights. The durability hasn't looked the best in some fights. I'll never forget that Kamaru-Usman fight, where Kamaru-Usman, a guy that isn't really knocking out many people. I know he knocked out Jorge Masvidal, and he knocked out Burns, but Kamaru-Usman was knocking this guy down with a jab, and he was getting wobbled with jabs, and even that fight was at this point like 4 years ago. So he got hurt against Chimaev, got hurt against Jack. I think Burns is probably, unfortunately, on his way out. Like, this might even be his last fight. I mean, if he loses this fight, it's gonna be a 4-fight skid. So yeah, I don't really like his chances here. I think Morales is, solid enough to stuff the takedowns, and then on the feet, I think Morales is just a much better striker. Like, Morales is actually a really good striker. I love the volume, the power as well, and I think that volume and power is going to give the 38-year-old chin of Gilbert Burns a lot of problems here. So I like Morales. I like him quite a bit, but I mean, he's minus 820 favorite. There's not much you can do here, but I'll take Michael Morales to win this fight, and I think he's going to find the chin of Gilbert Burns, and I think he finds it within the first 15 minutes. I'll say second round knockout though for Michael Morales in this fight. Should be a fun one. Should be a fun main event. It should be a fun card, to be honest. I think this is going to be a pretty solid card. I think we're going to get a lot of exciting fights. Definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. If you guys could do me a favor, on your way out, like the video, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys are liking for this card. Anything sticking out from a betting perspective. And just be on the lookout for more content throughout the week. We got Best Bet coming up Saturday, and then my betting breakdown video will be out Friday. We got the Draftkings content coming out as well. And if you guys want more content, check out dfsbythenumbers.com. I think we have a week off coming up next week, and then after that week off, we have like a big stretch of fight cards, which is awesome. We got Dana White's Contender Series content coming up, which is going to be massive. So, yeah, a lot of things to look forward to as a fight fan. A lot of great fights just announced as well. So, yeah, looking forward to it. You guys, best of luck for UFC Vegas 106. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the card. See you later.